Hi, this is the video for Daf Shevui, Masechet Ketubot Daf Tet Vav. Congratulations if you've been learning with us since the beginning. This is the last daf of the first chapter. So congratulations for making it this far through the chapter. I'm going to tackle a sensitive topic today that comes up throughout the Talmud and really, I think, makes a lot of people feel somewhat uncomfortable with the attitude of the rabbis, and that is the discrimination against the Gentiles, against non-Jews. It comes up in our chapter. For instance, on the second Amud, on the back page of Tet Vav, we get this idea of a person finds a baby somewhere, and it is not known who the parents are. If most people in the area are non-Jews, then that child is considered a non-Jew. If most are Israelites, then it's considered an Israelite. If half and half, then it is considered an Israelite. And Rav says, Lo Shanu, that's taught only for lehachayuto, to sustain it. Aval leyosin, but for matters of lineage, Lo, it's not considered a Jew. And Shmuel says lefakeach alav et hagal, to remove stones to see if an avalanche fell on this baby, or later on when it grows up to be an adult, to remove the stones. That's when we consider it an Israelite. And then we ask the question, Umi Amar Shmuel Hachi, did Shmuel really say that? But didn't Rav Yosef say in the name of Rav Judah, in the name of Shmuel, Ein hochin bepikuach nefesh achar harov? We don't follow in matters of saving a life the majority. In other words, we save a life even if we're not sure if the person's a Jew. Now, that's nice, but you can see over here that if we were certain 100% that the child was not Jewish, we would not save its life on Shabbat, at least according to this sugya. Now, I know that many later poskim and many later authorities say that that's no longer true, and because of Darkei Shalom, the ways of peace, we do save a child. And halacha l'maaseh, I want to reiterate this, a Jew today is commanded to save the life of any human being, even if it requires them to break Shabbat. This is not a halacha that we observe anymore, nor should it be observed anymore. Still, it was the halacha, at least theoretically, in the Talmudic period, and it's quite troubling. So I just want to say a word about that. I think that we have to acknowledge that the rabbis lived in a time where the discrimination against Jews and where the discrimination against Gentiles was much more accepted. And they just lived in a world that was far more tribal than the world that's more universal that we live in today. The rabbis acknowledged that all people were created by God, Jew and non-Jew alike, and yet they allowed here and there in their halachic system discrimination against Gentiles to thrive, to exist. At least, I don't know about thrive, that might be an exaggeration, but to at least to exist. And I think that we have to face that. We have to contextualize it as part of the society in which they lived. And we have to look at our own society and say that human beings have moved to a place where non-Jews are not discriminated against, and we hope that in the non-Jewish world, Jews are not discriminated against. The same way that I hope that my devout Christian friends do not actively engage in the belief that I or my Jewish family are going to hell when we die because we do not believe in Jesus. I hope that we can think and act, and we certainly must act in a way that is more open and egalitarian and equal treatment of non-Jews, and that even in our minds that we contextualize the statements of the rabbis, but we're allowed to move on to progress with human history and see the developments that have happened both in our culture and thankfully in Christian and in non-Christian, and hopefully in all cultures of the world, although obviously that does not exist in the current state of affairs in the world, but that we hope that all people will move to the recognition that all human beings were created in the image of God, and that all people deserve equal treatment both before the law and certainly equal opportunities to live happy, healthy, and sustaining lives.